Today is Meatloaf Surprise. If you haven't had Meatloaf Surprise, then you're in for a surprise. If you have, well, then you know it's no surprise. So I'm going to start out with 2 tablespoons of liquid smoke. Pour that right there on the meat. And that looks about good. Let's give it some nice smoky flavor. And then we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. I hope I'm saying it correct. And then we're going to add about a tablespoon. Good, nice helping. If you don't like as much garlic, cut back on the garlic. I like garlic. Granulated. And then we're also going to use some white fajita seasoning, and that's also about a tablespoon. Nice helping there. Pour that all in the dish. And then I have a tablespoon of onion powder. Now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of the beef bouillon, maybe another half. And now I'm going to crush up about 7 saltine crackers, and I just kind of do it in my hand, get it all, and it doesn't have to be perfectly crunched up. About like that. That looks good. Notice that there's some big pieces, some small pieces. It's okay. The fat in the ground beef, which is 3 pounds ground beef in there, will soak up that cracker. And I'm going to mix it with my hands and see if I got the right texture. Now when I'm mixing this up, I want to incorporate everything really, really good. I like to use some gloves on my hands because, you know, raw meat, especially a fatty raw meat like this, that it's on your hands, and I don't know, it seems like no matter how much hot water or hot soap I use, I can't seem to get off that film. But anyway, so we're just mixing it up, and we want everything nice and incorporated, and we're just going to keep, notice how I do my hands like this, keep turning it. I want to make sure everything is nicely incorporated there. Now notice I didn't put any eggs in here. Some people like to use eggs in their meatloaf. I personally don't like it. And sometimes I'll use crackers, sometimes I won't. I've used breadcrumbs, you know, like the finely thin Italian breadcrumbs in here. But see all these pieces that have stuff like, I don't know if you can see that well enough. We want to make sure to get all those spices throughout the whole meat. And so we're just going to keep doing that until it gets nicely incorporated. And while I work on that, I'll be right back. Okay, so my meat is all mixed up as you see here. And that's going to rest for a little bit, and then I'm going to start working on the surprise. So we'll put this off to the side and let that sit there for a little bit. Surprise! It's potato. And I use a raw potato, and I use the bigger grapes. And I'm going to grate that all down. And I would say this is approximately about 2 cups. So I want a nice healthy inside of there. I don't want to be, oh, there's no surprise. Look, it's just meat. So it's usually about 3 medium-sized potatoes that usually do the trick. And of course, if you don't want a surprise, then, you know, admit that. And you don't have to have a surprise. I like a surprise. Alright, so there, the potato is, as you see, it is shredded. and it's raw. I did not cook it. So now I'm going to add my ingredients for that, and we're going to start off with about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. It can be a little overpowering, so I just only like to put about a tablespoon. Now on the parsley, I love the way parsley tastes after it's been cooking, especially in a dish like this. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of parsley. Now remember, I only put a teaspoon of Italian. And then you're going to put 1/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. Dump that in there. And then I like to add a little bit of salt. Give it a little shake there. Alright. Looks good to me. And now we're going to incorporate it all. And get all the potato nicely coated here. And if you don't have time to do this, or if you want to do the potato ahead of time, I've never really tried it, but I've heard you can put the potato in some water and it won't turn color. But it doesn't take very long just to mix that all up there. That way everything pretty much gets all coated. Okay, and now we're going to assemble our meatloaf surprise. Okay, time for assembly time for our yummy, yummy meatloaf. So we're going to get some plastic wrap here, and we want it to be pretty big. Alright, should be good enough. Okay. Now what we want to do, if you can see me, I'm trying to lay this out as best as I can. Alright, now we're going to grab this meatloaf. And we're just going to kind of, if you see any pieces that may need to be fixed again, you still got time to fix it. So if you see some seasoning clumping together, just fix that real quick. Alright, so now we're ready. I see a bunch of seasoning right here, so just get it in there. Okay. We want to get it on this saran wrap. Get our saran wrap kind of laid out here. And what we're going to do is, still while incorporating all the seasoning, we're going to try to form it into a rectangle and get all those parts kind of mushing together. Okay. Because when you kind of want to get it kind of evenly distributed, or yeah, I guess that's the word. Distributed. You want to get it evenly distributed, because when it's cooking, then I'll cook evenly. Right, and flatten it out a little bit, kind of pretty it up, get the edges. Okay, now flatten it out, because you gotta still put the surprise inside, so we gotta have room for that. So just kind of work your way in there. Okay, almost there, almost there. It's kind of like you're dealing with a pizza, I guess, but a meat pizza. Alright, that should be kind of good. And now, in the middle, we put our surprise. Get all that goodness up in there. I would use the gloves, but this part those gloves are a little bit too big, and it's just easier for me to use my hands. And I don't go all the way out, because because I got to pinch the ends so everything doesn't leak out. Okay, so now we're ready to roll it up like a jelly style. And see how we roll this meat up in there? I usually pinch the middle, and then I just keep working until I get to the end. And I want everything to be nice and kind of closed here. So I'll just keep working it, and eventually I will get there. See, notice how I still have the plastic wrap on because I have to transfer it onto my sheet pan. And so just keep going here. I want everything, because this side right here is going to be on the downside. I don't use any strings, or if you've seen my other post, I try to keep it as simple as possible. And if you got some meat showing, just take it over. So basically you want to just kind of get the seam nice and closed. So keep going all the way to the end. And then when I get to this part, I want to tuck it in there. Go in there, tuck in nicely. Okay. And you notice I just keep playing around with it until I can get it closed up. And we'll go on to this side here. And I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to have our little bundle of joy, which is called Meatloaf Surprise. All right, almost there. Looking pretty good here. Now notice that because of the ground beef, the natural fat in it, you just kind of smooth your hand over it. It kind of seals up by itself. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now let me get the sheet pan, and we'll be ready to go. Okay. Oh, that's a heavy baby. All right, so I have my sheet pan here. Just a flat rectangle sheet pan. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip over this heavy baby. Here we go. Voila! See that? All right, tuck in the ends. Kind of smooth it over. Now, if you have some deep cracks, what I like to do sometimes, and I will right now, is I like to take just a little tiny bit of water on your hands and just kind of smooth that fat over in there. Now, you're probably asking, well, this has a lot of fat in it, and this is just your regular old run-of-the-muck ground beef. It's nothing special, no Angus. You can use, of course, whatever kind of ground beef you want to, but here in my house, we're just using the Runnel tube-filled ground beef. All right, now notice, see how the water, I kind of got all these cracks in? Because I don't want it splitting too much. All right, one more. A little dab of water along the sides here. All right. And this will stick together even though I didn't put egg in it. Because, I don't know, I don't like egg in my meatballs. I don't like egg in my meatloaf. I like eggs for breakfast. You know, scrambled, sunny side up. But not particularly in my meats. I don't know why. Okay, well that baby is ready to go. And we're going to bake it at uncovered for approximately an hour or so. I'll update you on that. But the oven has preheated at 375, and we're going to put it in the oven now. Notice this has a lot of grease, and you can spoon it out with a spoon like this, which is very tedious, and I don't have the patience for that. So I'm very gently going to pour that excess grease into the bowl here. Notice how my meatloaf doesn't slide. And then kind of put it back in there. Now this has been going for about an hour. Okay, so the meatloaf surprise is done, and all we have to do is either leave it on this tray, which I normally do, but I will transfer it onto another plate, and you'll see what it looks like inside. Surprise! I hope you like meatloaf surprise. Well, here's the finished product, meatloaf surprise. And I had a vegetable melody, which I fried up the corn, sauteed the vegetables in some butter and the white fajita sauce. And I hope you enjoyed dinner, because I know we sure will. Hope you guys like and subscribe my videos, and tune in for next time for what Nini is cooking. Thanks, guys.